Welcome back! You're on day 23 of our C++ journey, and today we are tackling something incredibly powerful, function templates. Seriously, if you've ever wanted to write code that's way more flexible and reusable, this is the concept you've been waiting for. Let's just dive right in. So you know the drill, right? You write this amazing function, it works perfectly. But then you realize, oh, I need it to work for integers, and also for doubles. And hey, what about characters? And suddenly you find yourself in this copy-paste nightmare, and your code is just getting bloated. It's a classic programming headache we've all had. Okay, so let's look at a really simple example, a function that finds the maximum of two numbers. Here's our max function. It takes two integers, it returns an integer, it works perfectly, no problem here. But then, what if we need to compare two doubles, like 1.1 and 2.1? Well, we have to create a totally separate overloaded function. And just look at it. The logic inside is exactly the same. The only thing that's different is the data type. We just swapped out int for double. And here we go again. Now you need to compare characters. It's the same story. You need another overloaded version. The function body, again, is identical. We've written the same exact logic 3 times. This isn't just inefficient to write, it's going to be a pain to maintain later. And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It perfectly sums up the problem. We're doing all this extra work, creating function after function, when they all do the exact same thing. You've got to think, there has to be a better way. And there is. Of course there is. What if, just imagine, we could write a single, generic blueprint for our max function? A version that honestly doesn't care if you give it an int, a double, or a char. It just works. Well, this is exactly the problem that function templates were designed to solve. So what is a function template, really? It's a blueprint. That's the key word. It's not actually a function itself. Think of it more like a recipe that the compiler uses to automatically generate the specific overloaded functions you need, but only when you need them. Oh, I absolutely love this analogy. Think of a template as a cookie cutter. The cutter defines the shape, that's the logic of our function. The data types you use, your integers, your doubles, that's just different kinds of dough. But no matter what dough you use, you always get a cookie in that perfect shape. In our case, a perfectly working function. It's such a great way to picture it. And let's see this in action, because the difference is just night and day. On the left, you see our 3 separate function declarations. Cluttered, right? Now look at the right. One single elegant template that does the job of all 3. This is the power of abstraction in C++, and it makes our code so much cleaner. And you know what? Creating one is surprisingly simple. You just start with a normal function that you know already works, like our int max function. Then, right above it, you add this little piece of magic. Template, type name t. And for the final step, you just go through your function and replace every int with the generic placeholder, t. That's it. And here's what it looks like when it's all put together. You see the template declaration up top? And now the return type is t, and the parameters x and y are also of type t. This one little piece of code now works for pretty much any data type you can throw at it. Okay, so this is perfect for when you're comparing 2 things of the same type. But, life's rarely that simple, right? What happens in a more realistic scenario where you need to find the max between, say, an integer, like 1, and a double, like 2.1? Our current template assumes both inputs have to be the same type t. So now we've got a new puzzle to solve. And the solution is, again, surprisingly elegant. We just add another placeholder to our template declaration. By convention, we call it u, because it just follows t in the alphabet. So now our function can accept a parameter of type t and another one of type u. Simple, right? Well, maybe not quite. There's a catch. And here's the catch. This creates a really subtle but important problem. Look at the return type. It's still hard-coded to be t. So if we call our max function with an integer first, t becomes int. So when the function tries to return the larger value, 2.1, it gets forced back into an integer, which is 2. We're actually losing data, and that's a big no-no. So how do we fix this? The amazing part is we don't have to. In modern C++, there is this beautiful, elegant keyword for exactly this situation, auto. When you set the return type to auto, you're basically just telling the compiler, hey, you're smart, you figure it out. The compiler will deduce the best possible return type all on its own. It's an incredible feature. And this, right here, This gives us our final, most robust blueprint. This function template can take two different data types, and thanks to auto, it will always deduce the correct return type, preventing that data loss we saw before. So now, if we call max of 1, 2.1, it correctly returns 2.1. Problem solved beautifully. So let's step back for a second. Why does all of this actually matter? Well, with templates, you write your code once. That means you slash code duplication. And less code means fewer places for bugs to hide. It makes your functions unbelievably flexible and reusable. And at the end of the day, it just makes your entire project so much easier to maintain. So we've seen that templates are these amazing blueprints for making generic functions. They save us from all that repetitive typing and make our code stronger. And that leads to a really interesting question, doesn't it? If we can create blueprints for behavior with function templates, what other fundamental building block of C++ could use a blueprint of its own? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me for day 23.